Rob, really good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. Just firstly, how are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm well. I'm in pretty early stages of what's been a pretty life-changing injury and an event for me. So still very early days, but definitely improving and getting there.
For obvious reasons, we've not revealed too much about what's happened. You mentioned it's still very much in the early stages, but what more can you tell us about what happened?
Sure. I suppose, early on, we couldn't put too much out there because, we didn't know. It was, I've been through, a fair journey in this short space of time and open to a whole new world of things that exist, but you don't really have an appreciation of, and I'm well and truly in that space now. And so what happened is that I suffered a brachial plexus avulsion, meaning I detached the 5 nerves from my spinal cord, which control my shoulder, arm, and hand. So, and as a result of that, I've got full paralysis of my right arm, and currently with chronic pain.
Do you know straight away that it was something serious? You'd have suffered injuries before, but did this feel different?
At the time, the guys that were first there, I have a pretty good anecdote about it, but I was pretty adamant that, get off me, let me get up, I'm fine. I pretty much said, a bit embarrassed here, don't get it, I don't need any help. And but then when I was telling Phil Dowson, who was with me at the time, he was saying, it's okay, don't worry, just stay down. And then I said, no, I need to get out my family here. I don't want to show that I'm hurt. And then the Matt Lee, who was securing my head and neck, said, Rob, you haven't moved your legs yet. And that's when I went, oh, I haven't. And then I was just kicking, and then I got my right leg moving. And then from there, I sort of went, okay, maybe I should listen to the medicos, probably for the first time in my career. So, and then everyone that was first to the scene did an incredible job, and very fortunate to have that, I suppose, level of expertise around that, because there are plenty of stories where people haven't had that, from Saints staff to the Tigers staff that were there helping too. So I'll be eternally grateful for those guys for helping me in that situation, because without that immediate response, it could have been a lot worse. So really grateful for that. And just by chance, having this happen where it's happened, I've been fortunate enough to have medical support that are world class and world leading in this field. But it's certainly a long journey, and very much in the early days of that.
And we don't want to go too much into detail, because you mentioned there's still decisions to be made, but I'm sure there are further things that will happen in the future. What does it mean for you personally, your personal life? I understand you're moving back to Australia.
Yeah, we've made the decision recently that we'll return back home, just for the fact that it's well, I guess we need to be back with family and that support network at this time. And a really difficult decision, because we've certainly made our home here in Northampton, and we've been part of the community, and definitely our youngest, he was 8 weeks when he arrived, and now he's almost 1. So it's he's spent pretty much his whole life here, and Northampton's always going to be a part of us, and the decision came that it's probably time to head back.
You mentioned some of the treatments you've been through, the hospitals you've been to, a couple of individuals from the club. On a whole, what has the club done for you in this process? Has the club been very much involved?
Yeah, it's been great. I'm very lucky to have been in the club that's been really genuine, and just that very real compassion, and not being a person, not being just a rugby player has been invaluable. And from our medical staff, in particular Matt Lee and Andrew Odwell, and from management, Paul Shields those guys have been with me every day, and they've been incredible. And then the playing group, you guys have, from visiting me in those hospitals, that they don't realise how much that helped. Just breaking me out of that monotony of that time, and that's been great. And like I said, just very lucky that it's obviously not ideal, but if it was to happen somewhere, I'm fortunate that I've had the care and the level of support that we've had here.
It's obviously had a big emotional effect, not only on yourself but a lot of people around you. There's been a lot of emotion from Saints supporters as well. I know you're not a social media man, but have you had a chance to go on and see some of the messages? Has someone passed those messages on to you?
Yeah, my wife keeps up with that, and my family back home for sure. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all the Saints supporters, and just the overwhelming level of support from them, and the messages, and it does mean a lot. It's just, you think it's just something online, send out there, happy days, but no, it has really helped to know that my emotional investment and care that I've put into my time here has had an impact.
A lot of those guys as well, I know they've been championing, we need to do a testimonial match for Rob. This is Tigers fans, Saints fans, general rugby supporters. The fact that they've called for something like that, and this game at Twickenham is going to be a testimonial for you, what does that mean?
Overwhelming. Really, I guess the term testimonial, I guess that's not something that I've had much exposure to in Australian rugby or the Southern Hemisphere. It's just not really something that's done. So, and I know in up here it's very much it's a privilege, and something that you have to earn to be able to experience. So at the start, when I was approached, difficult to accept, I suppose, because I haven't had too much exposure to that, and hard to, with anything, it's hard to, to accept. But now I guess I've come around to that. It is just those people that want to show their support and want to have an opportunity to do that, and at Twickenham as well, one of the great venues in world rugby, and I've got a lot of special memories there as a player, and to have that to finish my career, I guess would be pretty special memory.
We've seen from what you've said so far, and we've talked off camera, you're very much still Rob Horne, aren't you? You're still the same guy.
Yeah, I'm still very much myself, and it's apart, obviously I've had a life-changing injury, which you make plans in life, everyone makes plans, and then things happen, and then you reset and you go again. So I'm still very much me, still working through what I have to, but I'm certainly going to embrace my what's ahead, and new challenges, and new opportunities, and things that I suppose would never come into my thinking prior to this. And I suppose that's what a life-changing event does, is it resets the way you view things. So having met some incredibly inspiring people that do things that are just remarkable, it's certainly helped put things in perspective.
and it's clear that we spoke before about how you approach captaincy. You're very much a lead by example rather than words guy, and it comes across that it's going to remain that way.
Yeah, it's like I said, I've met some remarkable people and people achieving things, and I suppose with suffering this injury, it was hard to, when things happen, you go online and you Google and you find a lot of misinformation and things you just don't need to find. But it was quite difficult at the start to put pieces in place to try and get my head around and understand what's happened. And so the brachial plexus injury is not a common injury. So if I can champion and give some exposure to that type of injury, hopefully there can be more interest and more research into that field, and things can progress from there.
Just finally, it's probably going to be difficult because it was such an up and down year on the pitch, and then obviously what happened towards the end of the season. But how would you reflect on your year as a Saint?
It's regardless of my injury, it was certainly a lot happened. It fit a lot into 1 year, so it feels like, in a good way, it's felt like much longer than a year. So I've loved my time here as a Saint and Northampton. So it feels like you'll always be a part of me, always be a part of my family, and we'll cherish our time here, and no doubt we'll be back here and there. And it's been a huge year of my life looking back, and Northampton will continue to be a part of my life.
Rob, I'm sure I speak for everyone watching, everyone listening at home when I say all the best for the future, and we hope to see you soon.
Cheers, thank you.